How are you guys? How are you doing? Today we want to talk about supply and demand. It's been a while since we talked about this subject, supply and demand. So what we are going to do today is or to do with supply and demand. So in simple terms, we are going to define what supply and demand is. We are going to determine the supply and demand zones. Before we go any further, guys, I just want you to note that supply and demand is different from order blocks. So we are going to identify the supply and demand zones with that in mind, right? So okay. We're also going to talk about the high probability zones. The zones are not the same, right? Some zones are more important than others. So we are going to explain the high probability of the zones, the most important ones in this case, right? Then we're also going to explain how to reduce risk, how to reduce our risk, and how to use demand zones with order blocks and decision points, right? We're also going to explain how we manage our trades, how we set our stop losses, how we set our TPs, and if this is something you are willing to learn and something you're looking forward to learn, or something you have been airing to learn, then this is the moment, and watch till the end. I'm Shox and welcome. If you're new to this channel, we talk about smart money concepts, institutional trading, and a whole lot more. So today we are dwelling on this demand and supply thing. So first of all, what is demand and supply? So we use the novice definitions for our demand and supply so that you guys can understand clearly. So for those who studied economics, this is a very easy subject for you. Supply and demand. So we're just saying in simple terms, or in trading terms, trading terminology, we're just saying an area of supply is an area where we're having more sellers than buyers. Then an area of demand is an area where we're having more buyers than sellers. Simply, that's what we are talking about. So how do we know? If we are having more sellers than buyers, it means price is going to move aggressively to the downside from that area. And if we're having more buyers than sellers, it means price is going to move aggressively to the upside from that particular area. So what are we saying and how are we doing it? What we are doing is we are just going to the areas where we are having a pause and a drop, a pause and a rally, so that we can analyze our demand. So first of all, the most basic of it is something that looks like this. So this is the first, where we're saying rally, base, or rally, pause, rally, right? So this pause is what is the zone. It can be supply, it can be demand, depending on what you are doing. So this also can be represented in this way, where we are saying rally, pause, drop, right? Rally, base, drop, right? This is a supply area. And we can also do it like this, where we are saying we have a drop, pause, drop. This is a drop, base, drop, where we are saying this can be a supply. So what are we saying? So in analyzing or in determining the demand zones, the most important thing is the move. So first of all, what you see when you look at a chart, you don't see the demand or the zone first, you see the move. So this is the move, right? The aggressive move. Okay, let's mark the moves. The move, right? The move. So what you just have to do is to look in the area where that move originated from, and that would be your supply or demand zone, depending on where you are going, right? So this is the move, right? The move, exactly, the move as we go. So these are the moves. So if you look at one impulse, this is the origin of the move. So that becomes your demand zone. Why? Because we are saying this move is caused by a scenario where we are having more buyers than sellers. So where are we having those buyers and sellers? In this area, right? The origin is where those buyers are situated, or it's where the transaction would have taken place, right? So this is the rally. This is the area or the zone where we are having more buyers to sellers. And same applies to here, the supply zone. We're having more sellers to buyers. So it's just a ratio of buyers and sellers that originates, or that helps us determine where the demand is, right? So this is what supply and demand is. So how to determine the zones? First, you have to identify the impulse, then go to the origin of the impulse, and that zone is your what. So the zone is not a candle, right? It's a group of candles. So what you are doing is you are just marking the whole posing or the box. Let's just call it the box. So if price moves, then consolidates, then moves again, this is the gap we are considering as a what, as a demand zone. If you look at this area, we took all the candles in here. Why? Because this is the pause, this is the base of what, of every move that is originating from that area. And you see what we did here, that's how we are 1 2 3 4 candles. This is the what, the supply zone, and that's what we are doing, and that's how we are moving. Okay, so we have this again. So we don't mark it like this. I know you guys are used to order blocks and all, but when you are marking demand and supply zones, you mark it as a zone like this, where you are saying 1 2 3 4 5 candles. Then when you want to determine your entry, you can dial in into your what, into your order blocks and your decision points. Okay, I hope you are getting what I'm trying to get across. So rally, this is the rally from here to here, that's the that's the rally, and this is the pause. So this pause is what you are looking out for, and that's what you are using as your what, as your zone to trade. Understood? So that's what you are doing, and same applies here. You see, we had marked this as an order block, but if you are marking as a zone, you are marking all these candles and you wouldn't have been stopped out. And this is how we're doing. This is a projection which we did and posted in our Telegram channel. Be sure to join our Telegram channel, guys, for these setups every weekend, every day, so that you can get the essence of trading supply and demand and trading order blocks. So that's what you do. We trade order blocks and supply and demand. This is the zone, the base, and this is how we are looking at it. If you are marking this, you are marking all these candles as your what, as your supply zone. Why? First of all, what comes first is you determining the impulse. After you determine the impulse, you determine the origin of the impulse, and that's your zone. Do you understand what I'm saying? I hope you are. So how to reduce risk? If okay, if you mark a zone like this, okay, let's just mark one zone and determine an entry. So this is the zone you are marking. So this zone, you then look for one candle that is distinct and that you can use as your basing candle or your decision point. Most of the times I would like you guys to use the order block inside the zone. You mark the supply zone. Where is your order block? Your order block is here. But since you are trading supply and demand, you are not trading order blocks, your risk is going to have to be reduced significantly, because you have dialed down to an order block in that area, which means your stop loss is going above the order block instead of going above the what, the demand zone. Do you understand what I'm saying? I hope you are getting it. So this is how you reduce your risk and you determine your order blocks, right? So the next thing is how to manage trades after you get your entry at the demand zone. What are you targeting? So let's just draw a very simple schematic here. We're just saying, okay, this is the move, or this is market structure. Remember, you also need market structure. Okay, so if you are getting your entry here, let's say this is the demand zone you are considering, right? If you are getting your entry here, obviously your stop loss is going below the zone, right? And your first stop loss, or let's just call it your safest TP, STP, they call it STP, the supply and demand traders. So what you are doing is you are getting your entry here and you are targeting this one, this zone here. This is the zone you are targeting. Why? The next high or the next low is your safest take profit because of our market structure studies. So guys, I hope this was helpful to you. I hope to see you in the next video. I am Shox and I'm out. Trade what you see.